Hi, welcome to Mad Max channel. So, you know the theory, you have a processor, like a Ryzen 1700, and it's a couple generations old, and then you say to yourself, well, the box cooler was great, being specific, one of these, perfectly fine, lovely looking cooler, has done its purpose very well. Only one problem, because, you want to overclock, and as an example, the Ryzen 1700 has a out-of-the-box TDP of 65 watts. You know, when you overclock it, like quite a bit, and it's suddenly, like 100 watt TDP, a cooler like this suddenly starts struggling to keep temperatures in check. And I'll explain more about that why. But, obviously, the whole point of this video is not about this. Neither is it about the RYZEN. No, it's because get a new cooler, the Dark Rock Slim. So why did I pick this one? Well, because it's easy to install. It wasn't exactly expensive, and it's got a TDP rating of 180 watts. Should do. So let's do a quick unboxing, and then I'll just do all the figures of the testing. Yes, I have done some testing, as you do. So, when you open up the lovely box, you get a Be Quiet thingy-majig instruction, a warranty instruction, some foam, and another little box, as far as I can tell. Don't need that. Right, a little box. I can only assume it will have most of the components to attach it, which it has. So it's got little bracket things to attach fans, and then it's got all of the mounting pieces required to, install it. So it has separate bags, a separate bag for AMD processors, and it has a separate bag for Intel stuff, which you're going to need. So, no offense, Intel, sorry, won't need it. It comes with the metal bracket to mount it and some thermal compound. That's strange. I could have sworn it said it was pre-applied. Look at it. So cute. Won't be using that. I got a bigger one. MX4. Just saying. I'm not trying to, compare lengths. Right. So, that has happened. Let's come to the bubble wrap thingy-majig here. Well, we don't need you. Right, the cooler itself, well, is that black metal. Oh, it doesn't come with it. So it says, peel the label off before using it. Well, yeah, generally speaking, if you put thermal paste on it, you kind of would notice a little bit of a thermal with temperature issue. It's really nice. Really nice. Well made. The metal itself is not too thin, so bending it accidentally, like a water cooling radiator where the things just bend and bend and bend, doesn't happen. It's not direct contact, just to point that one out. So the block at the bottom here has got radiator grooves on it, but it's not direct contact. Whether that makes any difference or not is a different one. And inside the packaging of it comes Silent Wings free, which to me looks like 120mm. So its rating of this one is 12 volt, which is obvious, and maximum RPM of 1500 RPM. Yeah, that would do. So they obviously want this thing to be attached like so, using the included mounting brackets, which will do for 2 fans, not just one. So, as quickly as it goes with an unboxing here, because I don't think there's many other things I could really read out. Unless of course it will. Oh yeah, if you want to know. Socket compatibility. Oh boy, this is going to take a while. Intel side, 1150, 1151, 1155, 1156, 1366, 2011, and -3. What the hell that means, I'll never know. And Square ILM 2066, whatever. AMD, it's quite simple. AM2 plus, AM3 plus, FM1, FM2, AM4. Maximum power capacity, 180 watt TDP. Noise level, 800 is 11 decibel, 1200 RPM, 16.9 decibel, and 1500 RPM, 23.6 decibel. Putting that into perspective, I think if this is running on full speed, it will still be quieter than my power supply fan. Yeah, that's something else I need to change. Fan dimensions. So 120 by 120. Yeah, I thought it looked like a 120mm fan. The heatsink. Oh yeah, heatsink dimensions itself is 159 high. That's good. 127 wide and 72 thick. That's including the fan thickness, 72 thick. Lifespan, 300,000 hours, and it's a standard 4-pin PWM fan. Yeah, not much really to say about that. Besides, obviously, I have done a specific test, and this test will sound crazy. Now, I've already done the test with the stock cooler, which just simply means that once I've installed it, I'll attach another part to give my verdict / scores on it. But as an idea, what I've done is, and it's a bit of a crazy test, but there's an idea behind it. Now, I have got a Be Quiet. Yes, I know I have a Be Quiet cooler and a Be Quiet case. So I've got the Be Quiet 800, whatever it's called. So it's got 2 front fans, 2 up fans, 1 rear, 1 bottom fan. What I did was I tested the thing on idle 64. And I was running it for 15 minutes. So started the test with all case fans turned off. I have a little control dial thingamajig, so I can turn all fans off. So I ran the thing for 15 minutes with no fans running. And I've got 2 scores on this one to take into account. CPU temperature was 85 degrees after 15 minutes with no case fans. The mainboard temperature reached 67 with all case fans turned off. Now you're probably asking yourself, why would a motherboard temperature be important on that one? Well, airflow. But you're probably also asking, how come does case fans involved with processor current? Some cases don't have a great airflow. You can buy a budget computer case and it's got rubbish airflow. So that's worst case scenario with the stock AMD cooler with a TDP of the processor being 96 watts. Continuing on that test, straight after the 15 minutes of bringing it up to that kind of temperature, case fans on. Best case scenario with the stock cooler was 70 degrees on the processor and 54 degrees on motherboard, MOSFETs and stuff like that. And soon as the test stops, so continue on, so going bring up the temperature with all case fans off, dropping the temperature slightly with the 10 minutes run of case fans on, and then soon as I stopped the test, the temperatures after 1 minute of stopping it were down to 39 and 42 degrees. So 39 for the processor, 42. So box cooler is perfectly fine for case fans which aren't struggling, and the main board is also perfectly fine. So what I will have to do now is do exactly the same test, but with this one instead. So, with the magic power of video editing, I shall stitch it on. CPU cooler installed. Let's do a sound test and you can have a look at yourself. As you can tell, as slowly as that thing is turning, it's basically not making a noise whatsoever. Right, onto the end review of it. So, yes, after following the instruction manuals somewhat. Don't get me wrong, instruction manuals for the Be Quiet Slim, Dark Rock Slim are alright. Now, if you buy one of the more pro version of it, it comes with a screwdriver. Top tip, make sure you have 1 or 2 decent screwdrivers, because it doesn't come with one. Now, not that you need a long screwdriver, but you need something that has the right kind of heads. Because the ones which you use to mount onto the motherboard itself, with the brackets, they required, well, more of that. While the ones which screw on the cooler onto the mounts required a smaller head on it. It would be great if Be Quiet, even with a model like that there, would supply even a cheap, 20p screwdriver would be a bonus. But the thing is that's the only gripe I can pull off with this cooler, because I will now come to the specifics and I'll explain that right now. So, the stock cooler with the 1700, and the 1700 has its boost clock turned off and it's manually overclocked. So, the stock cooler, and I'll repeat these numbers again, with its base overclock to 3500 clock speed. 3500 locked as such. So, the 15-minute run, it reached a top temperature of 85 degrees and the motherboard reached 67. After 10 minutes with the case fans on, because I was with the case fans off, with the case fans on, it was 70 degrees and 54 degrees for the motherboard temperatures. And then after 1 minute of the test being stopped to see how quickly it recovers, it reached 39 for the processor and 42 for the motherboard sensors. Right, to Be Quiet, 15 minutes with all case fans off, it reached a peak temperature of 62 degrees. And then a motherboard temperature of 56, which I do not understand exactly why the motherboard temperatures are different, because, well, the other cooler blows air around. But admittedly, it's blowing warm air around. So it's probably outweighing the benefits and stuff like that. With the case fans on, it is doing a temperature of 54 degrees and motherboard 41. So somehow the motherboard is also still running cooler with this fan. And then after the 1 minute of stopping the test and letting the temperatures recover, CPU temperature 29 and motherboard 32. So that is basically a good way of testing idle temperatures, stress temperatures, and worst case scenario temperatures based on zero airflow. So as such, like heavy load with the processor, 85 for the stock, whereas 62 with the Be Quiet one, you couldn't possibly complain about that. The mounting hardware itself is fine, adequate. The instruction manual is fine, adequate. The lack of the screwdriver is the only gripe I have with the cooler. But yes, it was definitely worth it. Definitely worth it. And yes, it is definitely one of the quieter fans inside the machine. I mean, I can turn all case fans off, and the only fan I can hear is a power supply one. Trusted to be an XFX power supply. Yes. See, Sonic would have done a better job on that one. The same. So yes. Anything I can say about that? No, there's no point of talking about noise because, yeah, it's not loud. Spacing on it with the fan and RAM clearance, I'm using all 4 slots on my PC, and I've got about the gap of this pencil between the fan and RAM stick before it reaches slot 1. So lucky enough, they've somehow managed to space it out in such a way with its size that it dodges RAM slot on this, and that is it Asus Hero 6 motherboard. Yeah, Hero 6, yeah. Corsair Hero 6 motherboard. So yes, it does clear RAM sticks, lucky enough for us, which is a bonus. So yes, I'd like to say thank you very much for watching. I will be having another unboxing video coming up very soon of a new upgrade component. And it's a graphics card. Oh yeah. So yes, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I shall catch you next time. Cheerio. Oh yeah, any questions, feel free to ask. Bye!